All right, so Mr. James, first of all, let's get started with, your take on this audio clip, this controversial audio clip that's been circulating and that's been raising some concern among the population.
Right. So I'm wondering where is the best place to start because there's so many angles to this particular matter. All right. But firstly, let me just say quickly that the party, which is the TPP in this case, should have been properly formed, constitution in place to have properly responded to the matter. And I want to say quickly that I urge the Chief Secretary and the leader of the party to do so very quickly. The PNM has its response mechanism. It has its propaganda machine actually codified in their constitution and other supporting documents. And so contrary to what Hochoi Charles has said, well, govern as you are and do it well, and then when you form the party, people, he said that right here.
Yes.
There's a lot of nonsense. Had the party been properly formed, the party would have been ably in place. It would have been ably in place to do what is supposed to have been doing all now. So that not only my voice and other voices like Barrington Thomas and so forth, the entire party machinery would have been in place. And I think that is what the Chief Secretary was, if we admit that it is him, so he's going to speak today, I don't know what he's going to say. Mm-hmm. All right?
What are you hoping that he would say today?
Well, firstly, I think he hasn't done anything wrong. I don't think he has done anything wrong. And I want the people in Tobago to understand that. Here it is, people are having a private conversation as to their stratagem or their strategies in how to deal with their PR. Every party has a PR machinery. And every party around this whole world, every party has a propaganda machine. You can't survive without propaganda. You will fail if you don't have propaganda. For instance, people are calling him the chief adulterer. A particular chief secretary got his suitcase thrown out of 2 stories up. People claim that he has children outside of his marital union. The PNM, nobody called on him to resign. People knocked his morality, followed a bit. I myself even spoke to the particular individual. I said, don't do those things. So we're talking about double standards. But he was in political office. Nobody called on him to resign.
But this matter is a little bit different from that because one was a personal matter and the other has to deal with public funds, possible public funds.
So are you saying that if it is that I stole outside of my political office or I go womanizing about the place, that should be disregarded and should be declared fit for office?
But I'm just saying there are two different issues because one has to deal with your personal relations, and then the other has to deal with public funds, the utilization of public funds, and accountability, transparency.
But my argument is all of them are in the same basket.
Okay. Because
of the fact that your private life must determine how people view you as our chief secretary, as our front man before the whole world. And if you know, in England and those places, people are called upon to resign for those even lesser things than that. So let us not try to separate them. They're all in the same basket. So that we have another chief adulterer in Trinidad responsible for this email gate thing. And that chief adulterer did not, nobody called on him to resign. And email gate was one of the worst propaganda items in this country. Mm-hmm. But they have the gall to come today to tell this chief secretary and the other person, let us admit, let's as an argument, let's admit that is them. Well, and you're calling on them now to resign because you believe that in a private discussion, when there are no facts to prove that you're going to spend public funds to prosecute your propaganda and your strategy. And I'm saying to the public today, it's a normal thing. There's much ado about nothing. Let's take Wendell Eversley. He's coming today to deliver a letter to the Chief Secretary. Wendell Eversley, you didn't see the notes? Yeah, he, in my opinion, is one of the PNM's chief propagandists in this country. And he got a medal for it, you know. Ostensibly, or meaning, or in truth and in fact, Wendell Eversley got a medal for propaganda. And he boasts about that. And he's, rather than take his letter calling on persons in Trinidad to resign, he's coming to Tobago.
Now, Mr. James, what about the argument that Chief Secretary Farley Augustine asked the population to hold them to a higher standard than what was there before?
It is to say, if the PNM has a propaganda machine, nothing is wrong with that. All parties operate on propaganda, or that you'll never be in office.
So are you saying that it's okay to use public funds to spread propaganda?
I didn't say that. I said propaganda. So I'm saying if the PNM is using propaganda, that is quite fine. If the UNC uses propaganda, that's quite fine. Because that's the route through which you gain office and stay in office because of how the construct of the entire world and entire civilizations today. So there's no higher or lower standard. So I don't think that, we are in a place where we can condemn the Chief Secretary and Ms. Hackett if we admit that it is them. Assuming it is really them, I don't think they've done anything wrong either. Ms. Hackett in the first place says people will be willing to do certain kinds of stuff. So if I employ you and you choose willingly because you're attached to me and you decide that you will prosecute any kind of matter on my behalf, is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, I guess that is for the population to decide.
Well, this is the point. So to say that Farley himself has hired people, he's saying, let us bring our strategies here, let us discuss it, and we know that certain people are already doing that for us. He says if people are properly employed, meaning they are in a government job, they come through the proper systems, nothing is wrong with that. You've gone through the process of employment, the application, the job. That is what the Chief Secretary is alluding to. He's saying once you are properly employed, but nobody's debating that point. It is clear from the voice note. Once you are properly employed, you might be willing to assist us in our marketing. On the literal meaning of the words, I don't see anything wrong with that because it's what is literally said.
All right, well, we have to stick a pin right there and take a quick break, and we will continue these discussions with Mr. James on just some of the controversial issues that are within our space. So please don't go anywhere.
Tobago updates.